Hi, I'm Lacey and welcome to Appeal TV. Over the last month, Washington correspondent Bartholomew Sullivan was given extraordinary access to U.S. Representative John Tanner as he went about his business representing Tennessee's 8th District. We recently met up with Congressman Tanner at a Millington Chamber of Commerce luncheon.
He served as a lieutenant in the United States Navy, entered the Tennessee Army National Guard in '72 and retired at the rank of colonel. One of the few members of Congress to have served on the board of visitors for the U.S. Naval Academy, the U.S. Air Force Academy, and the U.S. Military Academy. At this time, I'd like to introduce Congressman John Tanner, our Tennessee 8th District in West and Middle Tennessee since 1989. Thank you, sir.
Blue Dog is a Democrat offshoot of the old Yellow Dog. And the way it became a Blue Dog was the Yellow Dog Democrats that were choked from the left and the right in the political spectrum until the Yellow Dog turned blue. And it basically is an organization of business-oriented Democrats who believe in financial responsibility first, that our obligation is to protect the country, of course, militarily, but then to behave financially like we would in a business. Every year that we continue to deficit spend, we debase the tax base to that degree. For example, in the summer of 2002, on the same tax base, not raising taxes or lowering them, but the same tax base, we have transferred about $85 billion that otherwise would have been available for health care, education, military, veterans, all of the things that the government needs to do to keep our country competitive. We don't have that money because we have borrowed so much money that we're now paying interest on that we are lessening our ability, basically, to invest in the things that the government must invest in to keep our country strong. That's the danger, and the other national security implication of that is simply this. China now owns almost $400 billion worth of our paper. They at some point, and I don't know where it will be, but they at some point could say to the United States, you stay out of our business with Iran, you stay out of business with Taiwan, or we're going to roll Wall Street, and we have the ability to do it. It's not there yet. But as we continue to see foreign investment, not in our infrastructure here, but in our paper, in our debt, that's not a good thing, and I think it has serious national security implications. We've got to have a supplemental. There's no question about that. I hope that the President will actually have a meaningful dialogue with us. The timeline is not a timeline on our troops. We don't have to have a timeline on our own troops. We can talk to them and issue orders. The timeline is on the Iraqi body politic, and it's telling them that after 4 years, almost as long as World War II lasted, we are not going to continue to ask indefinitely young military families in this country to send their loved ones off to perhaps die or come back without their arms and legs forever. And we're not going to continue to ask the American taxpayers to spend $200,000 a minute to help people, 78% of which, according to an Iraqi poll, don't want us there, and over half of them say it's all right to shoot us, to kill us, while they're fighting each other. And so this timeline business is only an attempt, it's not the timeline per se, any means to put pressure on the Iraqi politicians. As General Petraeus said, there's not a military victory here. It has to be a political and diplomatic end to this civil war, basically religious civil war. And so any means to do that, to put the pressure on them and let them know they've got to take control, and they've got to take up the opportunity we've given them, taking out Saddam, giving them 2 elections, and so forth, and yet we still see unbelievable violence with our guys getting killed. That we're not going to continue to do that forever. So I don't know. We'll see. The president vetoes this. Maybe we can sit down and figure out another way to put the pressure. But there's got to be definitive pressure on the Iraqis to take charge of this situation. We're working on a way to fix the alternative minimum tax situation. It was envisioned years ago when it was started as a way to get very rich people who had invested in a lot of tax-free stuff to at least pay something to help us basically finance the war, finance the government, when they didn't have any tax liability otherwise. It has now gotten to where middle-class Americans are getting caught in it, and we're trying to work on how to figure out to give middle-class tax cuts to people who up to $100,000, maybe even $150,000 a year incomes that they were never intended to be in this AMT. We're going to try to do some other things to simplify the tax code. It's far too complicated, and as we begin to do that, I think you'll see, I hope we see down the road this year some meaningful tax reform.
Thank you for coming.
For more coverage, you can read Bartholomew Sullivan's story in today's paper or link to John Tanner, Days in the Life of a Congressman on congressional.com. Yesterday in the heart of Midtown Memphis was the 12th annual Overton Square Crawfish Festival. The best Cajun crawfish around was cooked up to benefit the Alzheimer's Association.
They start out and they come in 35-pound bags, then we boil them in a very spicy sauce, and here's a typical one that's boiling right there. Drop the crawfish in there and they cook approximately 5-7 minutes or so. And the longer they sit in there, the spicier they become, and that's what people are looking for when they get the crawfish. They want to see that they're really spicy. People look for that. So these are the ones that have just come out of the steamers and the boiling pots, and now they're boxing them up, ready for the crowd to eat. And they're delicious. Come and get some. All right, what you do is you twist the tail off like that, back and forth, you pull it out. Then the next thing, follow it up. Suck the juice out of the head of the crawfish. Peel the shell off. That, which reveals the little tail. Squeeze it up from the bottom, pull it out. Some people prefer to take that little vein out of the back. That's a little vein right there they take out and eat the remainder right here. They're delicious.
Cadillac is the premier American luxury car, and as one of the country's premier luxury car dealers, Bud Davis Cadillac enjoys the same legacy. But to understand, you must first experience Cadillac. The 07 CTS is our best Cadillac value, available for just $299 a month. And forever in a league of its own, the Cadillac SRX, Car and Driver's best luxury SUV for 3 years in a row. Bud Davis Cadillac, online at buddaviscadillac.com.
Bud Davis Cadillac.
Next Sunday, be sure to go to the Raging Cajun Crawfish Festival downtown at Wagner and Beale. It's the annual crawfish boil and gumbo cooking contest to benefit Porter Leith. Thanks for watching, and come back to commercialappeal.com for more Appeal TV.
Well?
Wow.
The world's most perfectly cut diamond. Thrills like no other. Hearts on fire.